And I think that also, I mean, not to say that people aren't fallible, but it's that constant, like we talked about, business evolution. It's also about evolution as a trainer. So, you know, if you do something, you think that wasn't quite right or that didn't go so well, it's having the ability to be able to adapt and adjust your practice to make it the best it can be.
Hey there, it's Jay Kali, aka The Strength Architect, and 7 years ago, I quit my cushy federal job and I risked everything and moved down here to beautiful Cancun, Mexico. And within that time, I've had 3 super successful fitness businesses and I've got to travel the world. Along the way, I've had this awesome opportunity to meet some amazing coaches and to hear their stories, their struggles, and their joys of doing what they do now, living their dream, being a fitness coach. This is for those personal trainers out there who are tired of being stuck in the gym, or for anybody else who is tired of being confined to just their 4 walls and want to step out into the unknown and finally achieve their dream. This is for you. You're going to hear some amazing stories, all the way from Paris, France to Istanbul, Turkey, from Berlin, Germany, all the way down to Barcelona, Spain. I'm telling you, these stories are going to motivate you, inspire you, and push you to take action to finally go out there and achieve your dreams. Once again, I'm Jay Kali, and this is the International Fitness Coach, Living the Dream.
Hello, we're here with Paul Tucker with Paul Tucker Personal Training in Brussels, Belgium. Paul,
how you doing?
Man, thanks for having me. Thanks for
more than welcome
bringing me here. This city's kind of interesting. There's a lot of cultures here, but the palaces are beautiful. I just walked through a huge park, which is amazing.
Yeah,
also.
The Royal Park.
Yeah, I mean, my wife took me to this little town called Bruges or Bruges.
Bruges. Well, it depends because there's like 2 languages: French, Flemish. So they call it different things.
that's maybe why I'm getting so confused with this place, right? So I mean, this is the most preserved medieval town still in existence.
Yes.
Have you been there?
Once in 5 years.
Oh.
It was a couple of weeks ago.
Well, I guess I'm hitting all the tourist spots. I don't know what to say. No, I mean, really, really cool city.
Cool.
Yeah, you like it?
I like it here. Yeah, it's good. Nice for business. Lots of good mix of people from all around the world. So that's fantastic. That's the best thing about here, really.
And how long have you been here?
So this is my 5th year in Brussels.
Wow.
So
really
not so long, but you have a lot of people from elsewhere. They spend 15, 20, 30 years. Some have stayed. Yeah. Some came across when the commission was created in the 70s and is still here now. So
wow. And what brought you here? Why Brussels?
My wife works here.
Oh.
So I came here when I left the armed forces. I was in Germany and I kind of just never went home. I stopped off here on the way and remained here. So yeah.
It's like, well, it looks nice and I'm here with my wife, so
found something to do. So yeah, all good.
Very nice. And so how long have you been actually in the personal training business?
5 years.
5 years. So since you got here, you started
straight away. Yeah, I did a little bit of personal training. Well, I was not a personal trainer, a fitness trainer in the army.
Okay.
Obviously, sometimes you're training up to 100 troops. I was responsible for 300 troops training in Bielefeld in Germany. So it's a little bit different. Then, of course, I came here and adapted what I knew for personal training. I did a little bit of personal training with other people in the past, but more kind of as a hobby than for real.
Than actual business. Yeah. Well, I mean, the facility is amazing. So
Thank
I mean,
you.
You're doing something right. I mean, it's great. I mean, I see probably about 3 different coaches out there. See them doing foam rolling. See them doing myofascial release. Right?
Yeah.
All types of like a little bit more of like HIIT training too in there. Some like in testing them. So you got this body scanner, 12-point body scanner here. I mean, you've got this great even physio room and stuff like that. I mean, this place is beautiful.
No, we're doing well. One of the good things here in Brussels is that the actual real estate is not so expensive, so you can have a bit more space. If this was in London, for example, it would be probably a lot smaller.
London,
so
it is expensive.
It's expensive, yeah. No, so we're really happy, and we got an international team to go with our international clients. So it's a really, for this, Brussels is really cool.
Man, that's super awesome. So, what pushed you out of that comfort zone of leaving, the military, leaving that what you know comfortable? I mean, granted, and then coming to a country that you really didn't know. You really didn't know how to run business. So, say, like you said earlier, you're not really a businessman. So, what pushed you out of that comfort zone to actually do this?
Well, I think I left the army because the army wasn't evolving fast enough. So physically, the actual way they were testing and training their soldiers wasn't correct. They knew it wasn't correct, and it's still not correct. But the military is like a big ship. If you want to change direction, it takes a long time to get it to change. So that for me was frustrating. So sometimes you feel like you're swimming against the tide, and you either go with the flow or you get tired and you have to get out. So I got tired and decided to get out, and I came here. My wife was here. She was my girlfriend at the time. So then I kind of was sat here thinking, well, what do I do? So what do you do? So I had to find something that I could apply myself to. I had a plan before I left the military. You have like a year to get yourself in order.
That's nice.
So
a little transition period.
Yeah, and I literally left. I had Christmas break, and I started on the 2nd of January, I think. When I worked in the personal training studio.
Cool, man. Like that's.
Yeah,
it takes some guts, man. I mean, you had to. I mean.
Why? You have to take the jump. You know, being ex-military yourself, you're used to taking a risk now and again.
So, I mean, is that what you would say? You say you just take the jump?
Well, it was a calculated risk.
Okay.
I mean, so you look at the pros and the cons, and then you at one stage or other you're going to have to go for it. So yeah,
I think so too. I mean, well,
I made the jump and I was happy. I worked in a big gym here, which was cool just to get myself grounded and get a feel for the place. I worked there for 18 months, collected a client base, and then decided to come here, open this place about 3 years ago.
So. Were you just fed up? Like, I mean, because you could have stayed there at the big jump, right? I mean, that's what happens with a lot of people. They say, well, this is what I know. You already made one big jump.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, I've been here for 18 months. I mean, it's working.
I think it's also character as well. It's like you've gone through an evolution from what we talked about earlier of where you started, and you're probably thinking about the next 5 steps already.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. I got there, and quite soon I was looking for the next step, as I am now. I'm constantly thinking of ways to move and evolve. I think it's quite natural. Some people are just like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I was a trainer in the gym, just walking in, taking the cash and leaving. But I didn't work like that. So I mean, for me, it's an ongoing process, and maybe one day I'll start thinking, well, now it's time to slow down.
Yeah.
But I've got a couple of years left yet.
At least.
Yeah, maybe 3.
Maybe 3. You crack me up, man. That's great. So, what would you say is maybe the biggest obstacle that you've ran into being in Brussels in the personal training field?
For me, setting up the business was the biggest thing. It's probably the worst place in Europe to set up a business, and I'm kind of like stuck here. So I had to go through that process. So in the UK, you can open a business with £1. Here you need 18,000, for example.
Wow.
Then it goes to the notary. It has to be stamped, buying the building, doing the renovations, because this was just complete concrete. So everything had to be done, designing the place, getting all the kit. So I mean, that for me was difficult because in the forces I didn't do that sort of thing. So that was tricky. The bureaucracy more than anything. The people are great.
But I mean, it kind of goes back to the point with, stepping out of that comfort zone too, that I'm kind of curious about. I mean, maybe you didn't know what you were getting into before you started.
I think if I had, maybe I wouldn't have done it. It's one of those things that if you know what steps you have to go through, you might think twice or 3 times about doing it. But I thought, well, it can't be that hard. It was.
See all the red tape.
Yeah, but I mean, my wife helped me loads. She's multilingual, so that's good. She's also a lawyer, so she helped me with things like legally speaking. So yeah, we got there in the end. It was a longer process than expected, but yeah, that was the toughest part. Because I already had my business from the other studio anyways. That was
running good.
Yeah, that was running well.
So just more of a transition.
Yeah, but from the other side of the business, also the staff.
Okay.
It was difficult initially to find very good staff here. It's a transient city for one, so a lot of people leave. But then I have to find staff here that I can take, that follow the system, that follow my philosophy and training style.
Yeah.
But I can't employ them because of the employment legislation, if you like. So it's tricky without going into detail about
a
politics.
lot of barriers.
But yeah, these things, because people are always the most difficult to get your team right, I think.
for sure. Well, I mean, because you're bringing in a lot of different personalities, a lot of different characters, and
different nations,
different languages, different, just mentalities as a whole, and then to, like you said, try to get them in line with your vision, what you're seeing, and how you want to get there. I mean, that's not an easy task either.
Yeah. And our trainers range from 24 years old up to 42 years old.
Wow.
And also within that, there's not one nationality which is the same. So there's all these cultural differences and everything as well.
Yeah.
So it's, so it can be tricky.
Yeah. Want to bounce out early, or maybe they take siestas. And
Well, I got a Spanish trainer. We just don't discuss Gibraltar. That's still an issue.
We're just not going to bring that up.
Yeah, we just won't mention Gibraltar.
Go over that.
Yeah.
What would you say is maybe the biggest thing that you see missing from the personal training industry, or what would you say to other coaches out there?
I think the thing you have to be is true to your clients. You have to give them the best possible service you can.
Wow.
I think a lot of people will or can take you for a ride, and it can be very easy just to take someone's money and just, it's like when I go to the mechanic. I know nothing about cars. He can sit there and tell me, you need to change this, and this. Now, if he's a honest person, then, that's fine. If he's dishonest, then it's not so good.
Yeah.
And it can be the same with training. I think, and you see a lot of bad practice, and you see a lot of good practice.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's always better to be on the good side of the force. I've watched a lot of Star Wars.
Yeah.
They always prevail in the end.
Yeah.
The
good guys.
The dark side, it never works well for them.
Well,
especially with these Death Stars.
Well, because
they keep building them.
They keep building them.
With an exhaust pipe that they can fire. It's ridiculous. It's not cost effective.
I love this analogy.
It's true. Give us something different.
Well, I think it kind of goes in the line too. There's always some fault,
yes.
right? Like what you're saying. There's always some, like, maybe you didn't think about it, maybe you didn't realize it, but there's a fault. And then, maybe it's your reputation, maybe it's your lack of results, but you're going to get found out if you're on the dark side.
Yeah, you'll get caught out if you're on the dark side of the force. And I think that also, not to say that people are infallible, but it's that constant, like we talked about, business evolution. It's also about evolution as a trainer. So, if you do something, you think that wasn't quite right, or that didn't go so well, it's having the ability to be able to adapt and adjust your practice to make it the best it can be. And also, one of the most missing things in personal training is feedback. Because if you're on your own training, very, very often you get no feedback.
Yep.
You think you're great, you're doing your stuff, but there's no one kind of saying, well, hang on, you should try this. One thing I like here is we will constantly feedback, and we have meetings and we do feedback sheets for each other. Because when you hear it from someone else, you go through that process of thinking, are they right? Are they wrong? Should I change? Should I not? And I think this is quite important.
I think it's awesome, actually. I think just to be able to say, okay, look, bring your team together, and then having that camaraderie, I guess we can say, and being safe.
And being able to accept it, that's the thing.
Being able to accept it, because it's not coming from malice. It's not coming from one trainer just like, well, I don't like Paul, so I'm just going to tell him some crap just to throw him. No, we're trying to make everybody together. Like, rising tide raises all ships, right?
Yeah.
So you're trying to bring everybody together and say, hey, man, I seen you're doing this the other day. I don't know if that probably maybe tweak this, maybe look at this.
Or what's behind it? Why are you doing that? And maybe there's a valid reason. But this is really important. This is something probably you experience in the military as well.
Yeah.
You're always getting feedback. Sometimes
after action reports.
Yeah. Sometimes not when you want to, but it does help you evolve. And I think what is missing a lot in this industry is some people don't have that. Not through no fault of their own. Mm-hmm. They just don't have it. They might get a client that will be brave enough to say, well, I didn't like when you said this, or I didn't like when you did this. But most people, when they get to that stage, just change trainers.
Yep. Because they get fed up.
Because they get fed up.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Because we're almost like lone wolves. We're especially if you're in the
wolf pack.
Yep. Just
we cut.
Yeah. If you're just
on the roof.
On the roof, right?
One wolf pack
there by yourself. Especially in say you're talking about the big gyms.
Yeah.
Right. The big box gyms and stuff like that. Like you said, you're not trying to get feedback from another trainer because you don't know what their intentions are.
Yeah.
And so you are kind of like, well, I'm just going to stay in my bubble because this is all I know, and I'm too scared to step out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, you do your thing, they do their thing, and that's kind of.
And the big box gym is just collecting the money.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's crazy. What would you say was maybe a guiding principle or something that maybe you learned from a mentor or someone that you really look up to that's helped you the most in life?
So when I was in the army again, I worked with an ex-athlete called Chris Akabusi. He's a 400-meter runner. He was an orphan. He went into the army. He was in the same regiment that I was eventually. We did a promotion for civilian fitness in on Sky News, and they were trying to get civilians to do more exercise.
Take care of them.
He signed a picture for me, which I have in the wall in the staff room, and what he said was, "Be the best you can be in your arena." And I think that's the thing. So every now and again, think, am I being the best I can? Am I not? What do I need to do to be the best I can? I think these are wise words. And also he talked to me a lot about the sacrifice he had to make to be where he was. He won gold medals, bronze medals, silver medals. He was an Olympian 400-meter hurdles and 400 meters. The best one is when he beat the USA.
Oh, yeah?
In the 4x4. They weren't supposed to. Google it. I think it was 1992.
Google it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I watch it every day. I don't.
That's what I watch.
I wake up
and doing it. Let's go for it.
Yeah. No, but it's yeah.
Well, the great thing about that advice also is in your arena.
Yes.
You're not worried about what this physio is doing over here. You're not worried about what this yoga expert's doing over here. Look, what can I do the best in my arena?
Yeah.
Because
what you're good at.
You're going to expand.
Yeah.
You're going to expand your arena because of that. Because you're that sole focus of energy and concentration in your job or your sport.
Yeah, and I think it's just about having the diligence to constantly assess oneself and improve.
Man,
improvement's important.
Otherwise
we just stay the same.
Getting out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can get stagnant or you can grow.
Yeah.
And if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
I mean,
slowly.
You're slowly just eroding yourself away. Yeah. So it's a mind shift though too. I mean, you have to really look at it like, well, how can I push myself for more? How can I push myself to be better?
It's difficult because otherwise it's so easy just to sit where you are. And put your feet up and chill out.
Why we have the obesity epidemic, no?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
I mean, it's easier to live off welfare systems.
Buy what's easy and eat what's easy and, live with the consequences.
Fast and quick and, I'm dying anyway, so what's it matter?
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's a hard mentality. Is there anything else that you want to tell personal trainers out there? Or anything that you want to maybe help somebody else out?
Well, I mean, I think for trainers, really, it's just to constantly develop, to look for new courses, and don't believe all the fads, because there is someone who's going to create, a blackboard workout, and that's going to be the next thing, and you wave it around and you do this, and it promise you like all the results in the world. I mean, it's like, you have to be a bit savvy about what courses you do and who you give your money to. And don't be naive with these things. But other than that, I think develop and choose carefully what you develop with.
Who you surround yourself with.
Who you surround yourself with,
who you learn from.
Who you learn from. Yeah. Like you said, with your mentor. You know? Having a decent mentor. So we have a guy who lectures in university and that, and he's our go-to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're quite sensible anyway, but if you're not sure of something, we'll ask him, what do you think about that? And then,
he brings another perspective to the game.
Yeah.
Man.
Otherwise, we'll all be doing this electronic training with like pads
all over us.
Yeah.
I've seen that. That's getting really popular now.
Yeah, especially in Germany.
Yeah. It's the new thing. If it's new, I mean, that's what. It's kind of weird that we lose the tried and trues to try the new cool thing.
Well, basically, it's anything. I would say anyone who tells you can do what you already know takes effort and hard work and everything, and do it in 20 minutes. Strapped to a machine or taking pills or whatever, then that's something I would question. Just for the simple reason, part of the process is also the mental process that goes with it.
Man, you're dropping some
pretty much
wisdom, man.
Wow, I think.
Yeah,
you know this anyway.
Yeah, well, it's good to know. It's good to people out there. It's that feedback. I mean, it's always nice to either reconfirm what you already know, and hear it, and just look, man. If you realize, look, this takes some time. It takes some time to change your mind. It takes time to change your body.
Yeah.
But then you hear this guru over here saying, "Jump on my machine, hook up, be there for 10 minutes,
read the paper, and then you're going to be thin.
Yeah.
You're going to look awesome.
You're going to look awesome. Just hook up to these electronics and let's just do some jump squats and stuff. Yeah.
So
Paul, man, I thank you for your time, man. It's been great.
Pleasure to meet you.
Dude, you've been dropping some wisdom, dropping some knowledge, and I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people out there.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. All right, guys, one last thing.
Yep.
If they're coming in Brussels, they're in Belgium,
Yep.
how can they get a hold of you? How can they work with you? Because, man, like I said, this facility is awesome. Paul obviously has some great wisdom. He can help you. How can they find you?
Online at paul-tucker.com.
Nice.
Okay, we have a website, and then you can go through there. All the contact details and everything are on there.
Super easy. Clean, easy. I'm going to put that link in the video so it'll be just easy for people just to click on. So if you're coming to Brussels, I highly recommend hitting up Paul because, I mean, like I said, you're not going to be disappointed at all. Paul, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Enjoy the rest of your trip.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
See you later, guys.